Hello everyone. This is Chess Inventor, and this is a trial one of my web programming that we give a psychological analysis of the current event happening in Hong Kong. Uh, I will make this more professional. If I have if I have some donation or some form of support, I would say I will make the same video again to talk about the current affair in Hong Kong or even international affair if I receive more than 10,000 approval. Well, that may be a low goal to do that. First part is you have to understand my English with a very heavy Cantonese accent. Well, that is how my friends in the United States, they hear that, they understand me perfectly. So there you goes. Now, I'm cut to the chase. This time I'm talking about a mysterious advertisement that is happening between last year's Christmas. So between the in TVB channel in the period of a really popular period. I mean, of between 7 p.m. till 11:50, and so that is a mysterious advertisement. That in the background you see a firework, and then Andy Lau is singing a song. Singing a really old song, and also that and then it basically you don't see any product you try to sell. Also the name Apple advertisement agents really doesn't exist in the company registry. So that is annoying. I mean, or troubling to many, since they don't see the what it sells, or what you try to sell, or they are wondering what is the goals of putting a false advertisement in this period. You know that would cost a lot of money if someone insert an advertisement like that in TVB channel, which basically is a monopoly of Hong Kong TV channels. But before we start to analyze that, I said this program is about political interpretation, because from most of the YouTuber I see in Hong Kong, basically all they ever think about is eat, drink, shops, and they very seldom talk about fuck. So let's forgo that people don't fuck in Hong Kong. Do you see that? Anyway, since nobody has made a political interpretation, or a really explicit political interpretation, that is what I'm going to do here. But before that, I will start that with have you ever played a game called Civilization? I am an arena play. I'm almost addicted to that. I mean, I play that a lot. I play that game a lot. Really, I play that game a lot. When I'm in secondary school, maybe after I graduate from college. But anyway, I play that game a lot. And then in that game, there is in that game, there's an advanced version which we start to colonize an alien planet outside the solar system, since the Earth is no longer habitable. And then that spaceship break apart into a 7 component, something like that. And then the people, and then the player of the game start to recolonize the space. So start with space, and then they struggle to develop a new and advanced technology, wage war against each other, or make trade with each other to make money, such and such. And in the really high, advanced stage, they have a psychological weapon, which they call that false advertisement. So they send an air balloon on the city they want to disrupt, and that is selling a product which doesn't exist. So the theory goes, the people in that, during that advanced civilization, people are very consumeristic. So they see anything, they just want to buy, and just like the KOL or YouTuber, they are about selling something or selling themselves, if she is really worth of that money, right? So they try to sell something which doesn't exist, and the public see that, in an airship, but they can't buy that. So that caused them a quick displeasure, and then so that accumulated to a negative emotions, and eventually you can cause a riot. You can pay the citizen inside that city to revolt, and then of course that prices really depend on the mood of the people. If they are really displeased with the existing government, that it would be easier for them to revolt. So you pay them less, you save you some money, right? Then that would make that is the idea of false advertisement. If you read the reference of of this video, and then you can see at least psychological warfare, which is formal tactics in the United States, in U.S. Army. So before they wage a war, they will try to, or during the war, they will try to demoralize their enemy. So the same way they happen in Vietnam, the same way they happen in Iraq. So that is the same way that it happened in Panama. That's so that the best way, of course, is to win a war without even shooting one bullet. That's right. So this is that could be interpreted as a psychological operations by U.S. against Communist China, and we all know Communist China and U.S. in a trade war. Hong Kong is a really important pin in this chess game, and if there's anything that happened in Hong Kong that eroded the confidence of the people, which there wasn't much of that left, then there are more cards on the hands of United States, but basically Donald Trump. Now, those who are familiar with Hong Kong news, they would know the chief executive, we call her 777, is not very popular, and well, of course a lot of things accumulated, but especially after the dequalification of legislation council members, and so that's basically they changed the result of an election after someone they don't like get elected, and then also the same thing is now they expanded to prevent anyone that is suspicious of supporting Hong Kong independence to be listed as a candidate for Hong Kong Legislative Council. I mean, as a candidate of the election for the Legislative Council. So that so that that is not popular among the pro-democratic supporter. Uh, so this is what really that upset the public a lot. Then of course later we have the what's we call that white elephant engineering, which the railway cost billions to build, and then of course all the quick and civil engineering projects taking place, or that I mean that is done. That is done with the Chukong Beach from connecting Hong Kong to economist China. Everything that it costs billions. I mean to build, and then people wonder how much of that proportion is pickpocketed to some corrupt officers pocket bank account or or to their Swiss bank account. That probably NSA from United States they know very well. They know very well. Who has who profit from that. And so this is a sign of just a troubling sign of Hong Kong's treasury is taken to subsidize the almost bankrupting economy of economist China. And so that is so then 777 she proposed when they call this is a pipe dream, that to build an artificial island that can use to house maybe 300,000 people or 600,000 citizens. They could build, basically you build a new district, you build a new island in there, and that of course the bills will be hundreds of billions. And then of course there is also a lot of accusation from the pro-democratic camp that is empty the treasury. Actually the accusation is across the board, not just from the pro-democratic. That's also from pro-economist politicians. They have the same concern. And then you see, so she is only unpopular. And then with this advertisement, it reminds the public of something happened in year 2003, which is SARS and the proposed Article 23 legislation. So they both would affect the people negatively. That is to insert a negative emotions into the populace, or we would say that it makes the populations that would tend to go go down in a negative slope. So the people would expect for the worst, and people are unhappy about that, and the people have little or no perspective to invest in Hong Kong, and then they would leave. They try to emigrate. A lot of this bad thing happens. I mean, of course, that would not do good to the economics in Hong Kong, and so then that remind the public of what happened in the article. What happened in that and that in year 2003, and the pigs pet. You know what? The pig's pet is happening in China, and that they call the ace of the pig. The pig's pet. So then, what happened? The people associated with what is happening in the real world and what is inside the advertisement. is guilty by association. But people would say, "Oh, see, the thing happened in year 2003. It's like that SARS and then legislation and the Article 23 legislation, and then another thing. Tongchenhua is resigned. See the connection now? A lot of people, they think 777 would go along with Cantonese China's Beijing demand to make Article 23 legislation. I mean, they can pass the legislation without any with some reluctancy, but that is not enough role to counter that. And if the people have such a negative expectancy of what 777 would do, then of course her popularity would erode even further, and also people would start to think it is the time for her to go before she causes even more damage to the economics of this city. So this would be a way for U.S. government. U.S. government to destabilize the rulership of Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. I call that Hong Kong Communist Government. That is one way to remove her from the seats. Then it will go along with somebody more akin, more cater to the interest of the United States, to stop Hong Kong from being a jumboard of those technicians who steal United States trade secret, or basically about a lot of patents, patented product designs about Android, smartphone, computer operating system, those things. So this is a way for U.S. to pay its chest against Cantonese China. If it is really the cases, a hallmark of the psychological operation would be it would appear completely disconnected from United States. No connection whatsoever. Then it would be an excellent psychological operation. And if people know this is from the United States, people would react against that, and that we call that reactance phenomena. In psychology we call that reactance. So, but people, if they don't know and they don't associate with that, and they don't see the motive behind that. All I said here is just a hypothesis of what could be happen. I don't have any evidence. I can't prove anything. So that is exactly what they want. The real psychological operations would have cause and effect to the public opinions, or to the way public opinions that is trending, without anyone knowing the real sources or real intention or the real motivation of what they plan to do with this advertisement. No, absolutely nothing. So it would seem really innocent, and then it would have a cover story. It would just an advertisement, or it's just an advertisement of a new company that they want to sell their product, or you want to be raised from the dead, and then you were selling something else. That is what all the KOLs and YouTubers in Hong Kong is thinking about. All they're thinking about is buy, sell, food and drinks, and clothes, shoes, socks, tourism, and all such a thing. And politics is never a part in their mind. it is as if politics doesn't exist. So that is really amazing part. I'm not going to devote. I'm not devote this program to do these things. I call conflict thinking too much. Otherwise, I can just talk about that in 6 hours. Just keep talking about that. So let's forgo about it. Then I have another hypothesis of what is happening here. So is that possible that somebody is using this to increase his chances to become next chief executive? You understand? The price tag of chief executive in Hong Kong is 160 billion, or about 20 billions US dollar. Since he's worth that much money, and then of course anybody who would like to be chief executive, then we can learn from Donald Trump that once you become the president or something, a lot of things become much easier for you. I am not impiling something. I am telling facts in Hong Kong. Those who do trades in Hong Kong are familiar with the Hong Kong situations. But they can verify that. I'm not going to devote too much of this program about this thing. But anyway, rumor has said that the Singto Media Group, basically the publisher of Singto Diary, a pro-Beijing, a pro-Cantonese newspaper that aim for the middle classes. Rumor said he want to be the chief executive of the next chief executive. So he makes such an advertisement, then this would hurt three of his competitor, which is Tung Chien-hwa, the first chief executive, because SARS, the whole thing is the SARS, and then the legislative, the proposed legislation of Article 23 is happening during his terms. So Tung Chien-hwa, so people will have a very bad impression of that. That remind Tung Chien-hwa of that, of how unpopular he is, and the people and will associated him with SARS, and then so that would prevent him from extending any of his political influence. And then also C.Y. Leung, because C.Y. Leung is a strong man. I mean, he has the image of strong man. So what he is famous for is during the umbrella revolution. I call it umbrella movement, which he asked the policemen armed with long guns, and then with armed and long guns, it looks like he prepared to shoot the demonstrator gathering in Central, and to end the occupation movement prematurely. So the people have that impression of that image of him. He is really pro-economist. He's pro-China, and so if rumor also said he would be a contender for the next chief executive so-called election. Then with this advertisement, the people reminded of Article 23, and so that would make him very unpopular among the middle class, or basically among the all sections of Hong Kong. And then and when he is so unpopular, he will not even be listed in the candidate. Also, that the same thing goes for the 777 because Xu is seen as more and more leaning toward the pro-Beijing, pro-Cantonese position. So it would not be too surprising that Xu proposed for the legislation of the Article 23, since it is during her governmentship, her rulership, that the qualification of legislative council member happened. I mean, so that you can see the logics went from one step to two steps, third step. Thereby, with this advertisement, you could remove that advertiser can at least damage the free contender of chief executive. He can remove his candidate from even take place in the election. So she set the stage for what is to come next, and then the whole thing would be in his favor, and then the logic follows that the Cantonese China would back him to go for the election of a chief executive, and then the Hong Kong people would be really happy, since when he become a chief executive, and then he can win a lot, he can score a lot by just not doing what the public fear the most. Article 23 legislation, he can just say that in his platform, election platform, that he will not do that during his terms, and then if other contenders say that they are in consideration of doing so, so other contender would lose a lot of political score. I mean, he don't even need to make any concrete plans how to improve the economics, or the issue of Lucas, of so many of immigrants from Cantonese China, and he don't even need to talk about anything about that. And then and then the yellow weapon supporter, they will treat him as a god figure, the Jesus Christ once again. I mean, you see, that saves us all from the hell of Article 23 legislation. Now that is my hypothesis of what's happening in Hong Kong. Also, there's yet another hypothesis. That is a psychological operation, not from the United States, not by somebody who want to be a next chief executive, but by Cantonese China's psychological warfare department. How? Why? Why so? Because it would set the tones of what is happening in Hong Kong. Basically, Hong Kong people is one very adaptive people. So if you're saying there is a fate going to happen, and that is going to be Article 23 legislation. In psychology, we have a term called self-fulfilling prophecy. People, they would do things, unconsciously or consciously, that would make what they think they are going to happen. So with this advertisement, this is testing the public's reaction toward that. Now, if everything goes well and people make plans to adjust to what happened to the legislation of Article 23, they said, okay, this is just a gesture of peace. So we make peace with Beijing, and they will not DQ any of other of our candidates again, or they will not kidnap any of our descendants from Hong Kong to a prison in Beijing. All this will not happen if with the legislation of 23. That is gesture for peace, and then we make peace with economy China, nothing else would happen, nothing bad will ever happen from that. I mean, but that is the tendency of, that's the way of how Yellow Ribbon thinks. They just accept the reality as it is and they adjust to that. I mean, unfortunately, that is the majority of Hong Kong people. So, with this advertisement that is suggestive of Article 23 and a clickbait, the people then they prepare for the worst, and the chief executive, she has 2 cards to pay, so she can either go ahead according to the wish of Beijing. So that is essentially Beijing is pressuring her. Beijing is forcing this on her folk. Is forcing this set the tones, and then if she do that, that is according to the prophecy. If she don't do that, that, well, you know, that then something bad may happen to her, right? Or, you know, you see, this is that changed the public perceptions, that alter the public opinions, and then since a lot of this take place unconsciously, people are not sure the real motivation of that, so they can't really be prepared or react to that. Then everything would be a lot of this thing would be in favor. I mean, psychologically in favor for what is coming in Hong Kong. So that is what the public expected. Also, the public expect for the worst, and then if the chief executive she's not doing that, or the next contender of the chief executive, he or she is open against Article 23 legislation, then he or she can win a lot of political score. I mean, the same way also, that is, you can also see this as a escape route for the current chief executive. If she reacts very strongly to that, warmly denied such a thing would be happening, and then she score a huge win. All that is in favor of the current existing, I mean, the Hong Kong Communist government. So I have a lot of I have a lot of reason to suspect that is part of Beijing's psychological operations against the Hong Kong people. So I mean, then the card is on the Beijing side. It can either do that if it's not encountered too much resistance from the populace, or the United States is not objecting that too much somehow. I don't know how. I don't know why. If that is happening, then it would put cards into Beijing's hands for the next step. And then, of course, we all know that Hong Kong is a very important piece of a chess pin in the chess game of between United States of America and Cantonese China. So, guys, I believe we are seeing real psychological operation happenings right here and right now. So, you agree or disagree? You can leave your opinions of this clip. Thanks for listening. If there is enough funding, I will make better graphics, other video effects next time. Thanks for your time. Have a good day and good luck. This is Inventor Chess.